in the world. Then sang Deborah and Barak, the son of Abinoam, in that day, that the leaders took the lead in Israel and the people offered themselves willingly. Here's the poem, verse 3. Hear, O kings, give ear, O princes, to the Lord I will sing. I will make melody to the Lord, the God of Israel. Lord, when thou didst go forth from Seir, when thou didst march from the region of Edom, the earth trembled, and the heavens dropped, yea, the clouds dropped water. There was rain of some kind? The mountains quaked before the Lord, yon Sinai before the Lord, the God of Israel. In the days of Shamgar, the son of Anat, in the days of Yael, caravans ceased, and travelers kept by the byways. The peasantry ceased in Israel. They ceased until you, so ordinary life was stymied until you arose, O Deborah, until you arose, a mother in Israel. Skip to verse 12. Awake, awake, O Deborah, awake, awake, utter a song. Arise, Barak, lead away your captives, O son of Abinoam. Then down marched the remnant of the noble. The people of the Lord marched down for him against the mighty, against the enemy. Now skip to verse 20 to find out how the Israelites won. Verse 20. From heaven fought the stars. So it wasn't just 10,000 Israelite soldiers fighting 900 chariots and thousands of Moabites. From heaven fought the stars. It was heaven fighting. From their courses they fought against Sisera. And now in verse 21 we learn what happened. The torrent Kishon swept them away. Remember, it said that the heavens dropped water earlier. So there was a rainstorm, a flash flood was the result. And the little stream Kishon became a raging torrent and swept away the iron chariots. So the iron chariots were worthless. And that's how the Israelites won. God intervened, sent rain. The little brook became a raging river, and the chariots were swept away. The torrent Kishon swept them away. The onrushing torrent, the torrent Kishon, march on, my soul, with might. Then loud beat the horses' hoofs, trying to escape the flood, with the galloping of his steeds. Verse 24. Most blessed of women be Yael, the wife of Heber the Kenite, of tent-dwelling women most blessed. He asked water, she gave him milk. She brought him curds in a lordly bowl. She put her hand to the tent peg, and her right hand to the workman's mallet. She struck Sisera a blow. She crushed his head. She shattered and pierced his temple. Now here it looks as if in panic, he jumps up suddenly and then gradually falls dead. It's a very dramatic scene. He sank, he fell, he lay still at her feet. At her feet, he sank, he fell. Where he sank, there he fell, dead. You know, it's like an opera where you stab the bad guy, but he doesn't die. He staggers around, and the choir is singing, she stabbed him, in the heart she stabbed him in the heart, with a knife, she stabbed him. You stabbed me, I'm dying, he's dying, she stabbed him. Well, so that's what, in Tosca, that's just what happens. Tosca, Scarpia wants to rape her, because Scarpia her lover is being tortured in the other room, and he says, I'll let your lover go, Tosca. And she says, Il prezzo. What's the price? You're the price, honey. I want you. And she says, well, all right. So he says, Mia, mine. And he lunges at her. And she takes a knife and she stabs him in the belly and says, this is the kiss of Tosca. And he's staggering around. You've killed me, She's saying, die, mori, die. Very powerful. All right. I mean, you can make a great opera out of this. I mean, I love this. He sank, he fell, he lay still at her feet. He sank, he fell. Where he sank, There he fell, dead. Verse 28. Now, we add a scene. I think this scene is brilliant and insightful and compassionate, and I'm going to read it to you, and maybe you can guess why the author adds this. I mean, the story's over. The bad guy's dead. Verse 28. Now the camera sweeps across the plain back to the capital where Sisera's mother is waiting for him to come back a victorious soldier from the battle. So now we see from the point of view of Sisera's mother. Out of the window, verse 28, she peered. The mother of Sisera gazed through the lattice. Why is his chariot so long in coming? Why tarry the hoofbeats of his chariot? We know he's dead, but she doesn't know, his mother. Why tarry the hoofbeats of his chariot? Her wisest ladies make answer. Nay, she gives answer to herself. Well, I guess he's late because they're finding and dividing the spoil. A maiden or two for every man. They're raping all the Israelite women. And stealing all the beautiful cloths that the Israelites have. Spoiled of dyed stuff for Sisera. Spoil of dyed stuffs embroidered. 2 pieces of dyed work embroidered from my neck. He's going to bring me a beautiful mantle from he stole from the Israelites. And that's what she's thinking. Now, why in the world do you think that the writer would try to see it from the point of view of his mother? What possible message could there be here? It adds a human dimension, which is amazing. Well, I think it's saying that you have to remember that even a deadly enemy is a human being, and he has a mother who loves him. And she is going to be devastated when her beloved son doesn't come back from the battle. On the other hand, she thinks it's perfectly all right for him to rape all the women he can and to steal everything he can, so her values aren't very high, but she does love her son. So for just a moment, let us, seeing it from the point of view of the Israelites, let's leave the point of view of the Israelites and think of what it must be for a mother to lose her son in war. Even if he's a bad guy, she loves him. Even Hitler and Stalin had mothers. And it doesn't mean we don't fight them, but it means you don't demonize them. You recognize the human dimension to their life. I think one reason I've never been able to look at pornography is because and I only saw it once in my life when I was in college in our fraternity house. They had a pornographic movie. I remember the guy never took his socks off. And but all I could think of was, this girl degrading herself like this is somebody's daughter. She has a father, she has a mother who love her. And it's terrible what people will do to themselves when they forget the image of God in which they're created. So pornography, people may enjoy it. It always depressed me. All right. So, but to look at it from the other point of view, to look at it from the other point of view, the guy has a mother who loves him, and she is going to be absolutely devastated when she hears how he died, and the treacherous death. I mean, Yael killed a bad guy, but that's no way to do it. So there's a lot of ambiguity here. But then the bottom line, all right, we have to feel sorry for Sisera's mother. On some level, we might even feel sorry for Sisera, killed in that way of betrayal. But the bottom line, verse 31, so perish all thine enemies, O Lord. Let thy friends be like the sun as he rises in his might. We've got to destroy the enemies of God and of decency and of truth. Osama bin Laden may have had a mother, but you had to kill him anyway. So that's the bottom line.
I think they wrote it, well, just my...
All right, that's just my theory. What do you think?
I think that they wrote it to show their values. She's talking about the capture, that they rape people, and they're materialistic. And I know she's worried about her son, but she's talking about it will include this and
Yes.
that. And I think they're showing the difference between them, you know, she lives in the sun.
I think so.
It's a totally different values system. And I think it almost, in a way, humanizes her, but at the same time, it's a contrast. I don't think it's completely complementary to the woman.
No, I agree with you. She loves her son, but if you want to rape the Israelite women, you can do that. So, I mean, people, even we make such a distinction, and it's the basis of much immorality, between us and them. What you do to them is all right. As long as it's not done to us, it's okay. I mean, I knew people who thought that the system of segregation in this part of the country was just fine, and black people were just happy with it. And they didn't understand what it would be to be in the shoes of the other guy and to be treated that way as a second-class person. And all you have to do is put yourself in the shoes of the other person, just for a minute. And Sisera's mother can't do that with the Israelites. She has compassion for her son and loves her son, but if you're of another tribe, it's no good. This still plagues the Middle East. Shiites and Sunnis don't see each other as human beings. They're like some other kind of creature. And this plagued the 16th century, the 1600s, the 30 Years' War. Catholics and Protestants didn't see each other as human. And that's why John Locke and others had to come up with a totally new definition of the human. A rational individual person who happened to be Catholic or Protestant depending on how he was raised. But basically we share a human nature which makes us all brothers and sisters. That was a new concept. We have it in the Bible, but it had been lost. And you had Catholics and Protestants turned Europe into a cemetery. They were slaughtering each other until we came up with a new notion, and our country was founded on that new notion of a human person as an individual, rational, decision-making person, and we're all essentially the same, and our differences are incidental.
The Enlightenment?
Yes, very much the Enlightenment.
It destroyed families like Mary Tudor, and there's Elizabeth, and they fought with Mary Queen of Scots, so it would divide countries. But I got the idea that it wasn't just spiritual, it was also political.
Yes, absolutely. So, in other words, we had to invent a new definition of the human. And that definition is what our country was founded on. John Locke and Montesquieu and, there's so many great philosophers came, and Thomas Jefferson took this idea and made it into the foundation of a country. And we just think that's the way everybody's always thought, but they haven't. It's very unusual. That's why we can't get anywhere in the Middle East. We're trying to impose that kind of thinking on them, and they just don't even know what we're talking about. All right, folks. Good literature. Isn't it wonderful? I love it. And we'll go on with these stories next time.